Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next few hours, along with Spence.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
happy to be back.
Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Gal may join us for a little bit. He's got something to do this morning, and Nick had a note that he's not going to show up. So it's Spence and I.
Doctor.
So are you getting used to the warmth?
Actually, it's cold here. What's going on? I mean, I was doing something in the garage. I went out last night. It's like, wait a second. Why is it?
Says the guy who just came back from Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Gal, good morning. He's still not set up.
He's getting there.
Yeah, it's cold. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yesterday, toward the afternoon, I mean, it was raining and all that. Then I had to go out, and I had shorts on. I had to go out, check the mail, and I stepped out. I said, "Oh, I can't do that." And this morning, hey, Gal.
Welcome back, Spence.
Oh, there you are.
Hi, Gal. How are you?
Doing good. We're heading out, but I wanted to say hi before and see you.
Oh, good. Well, thanks. And this picture in the background, I took it 2 days ago.
Amazing.
Kenai Peninsula. I spent my time in Fairbanks, which is in the interior, there are mountains around, but not in town. But we went down to, as part of a familiarization trip for not a new lodge, but a different lodge that we'll be driving to. And this is literally driving on the side of the road, Mirror Lake, showing these snow-covered mountains. You turn the corner and say, I'm not really here. It's just amazing.
I'm going to take up some of your time sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, because you're going to plan a trip, right?
We're going to get all of the tips from you.
All right. Yeah. And I've only seen a small portion of Alaska. Just think about the places you can go. I've seen most of the easily accessible stuff. So
Where a big bus can get to.
Well, also I could fly to. I flew to above the Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
And got to tour a small town up there, which was pretty amazing.
So what was it when I connected? I heard Amnon complaining about the cold to you.
Damn, it's ridiculous. No, he was complaining that it's cold here.
No, I said the warmest temperature we had before I came home, it got up into the 50s, which was amazing. And because 3 weeks before that, it was still below freezing all the time. And so we had warm days, and I walked around in a short sleeve shirt because I had accustomed myself to, below freezing and sometimes below zero. So it was amazing how you acclimate. Now I know why Alaskans, when the spring hits, they're in shorts. It's hot. What? Why are you wearing shorts? Well, it's 100 degrees warmer than it was, just a month ago.
Yeah. Well,
Oh. All right, guys. So, I mean, don't feel like you have to stick around. I don't want Mati to get mad at
she's not mad. That's a fine.
you.
All right.
Anyway,
So you guys had a bad thunderstorm a couple of days ago.
yesterday.
Yes.
Well, because my neighbor's chimney got blown up.
What?
Wow.
They sent pictures. Yeah. It blew their chimney apart, dropped pieces through a skylight, hit one of their air conditioning units, hit their gas meter. This is like across the street from us. It's like
So that was what?
Wow.
Lightning hit it?
lightning.
Direct hit.
And this is the third time within 100 yards of my house that houses have been hit. Two times, other two houses caught fire.
See, this is why I am glad, and I'm not complaining about the fact that they put a cell tower,
Yeah.
about 400 or 500 yards from here. I mean, like toward I-40. I mean, it's been there for years and years, but ever since, knock on wood, never had a problem with lightning. Before that, every time there's lightning, we would get hit and something will get blown up. And talking about lightning and all this, actually, I didn't get it yet, but I just subscribed to Duke Energy whole house surge protector. I want to see, I mean, I still can read about it and see what it does and what doesn't it do. But $7.95 a month will cover all major appliance, but I got this out of them, not the electronics in them. So it will cover your air conditioner, but the motor and stuff, but not the board, the electronic, the logic board. Same thing with the washing machine, all that. For $2.99 more a month, they'll cover all the electronics and any electronics in the house. So the lower price, the $7.95, is only for major appliances and not the electronics in them. If for the motors, so yeah, I went for the whole thing. But it'll be interesting to find out what else they don't cover. But that cell phone tower, I mean, you could see it every now and then. That when there's a bad storm, that lightning is kind of like. I mean, one time I saw it coming down and taking a turn like a smart missile, and redirect itself to the top of the tower.
Giant lightning rod.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, gosh, that's amazing.
This starts up a discussion I've had with myself over getting a lightning rod on the house. I did this the last time a house caught fire.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, quote, in the neighborhood. I started thinking about it and actually called around to see what it would cost to have it done. So,
I mean, the way I remember trying to do this. Like, oh, God is gone?
yep, he's
Oh.
gone.
I remember looking into it back when I was running the bulletin board in the 80s. 80s? Yeah, 80s and early 90s. And I mean, that computer was getting hit again and again. Okay, so homeowners paid for it. No problem. But I was looking at it, and the way that they were doing it, or the way that they're still doing it, like in rural areas, it's not a lightning rod. It's rods that they build on the peak of the roof.
Yeah.
Like about 5 of them. And then there's
Yeah.
a real heavy gauge cable that goes around the house, connecting all of them together. And
They call them air something, and I can't remember exactly what they're called, but there's
I
a
don't
term
know.
for it. You
I
see
don't-
it in older farmhouses
Yeah,
in the area.
yeah.
And they've ground it. They usually have one at all the high points around the house, and it creates something they call a Faraday cage.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is like a cone of protection around the house.
Yeah. So if you have a cell phone close by, don't fight it. I mean, yeah, there it's not pretty to look at and all that, but it serves a purpose. It serves a
But the
great
question
purpose.
is, there were trees all around our houses that are
Yeah.
50 feet higher than our house.
And yet it went.
Why does it hit the house? So why
Yeah.
does it hit the brick? So that the brick had there's no, as far as I know, there was no metal liner inside it. There was no,
Mhm.
yeah, there was metal caps on the top of the flues, but
Mhm.
why? And all I could think of was that the chimney was wet and was a better conductor than
Yeah.
something else. So, but literally the third time in 20 years that the two other houses were on the other side of me. One was literally behind me and one house over. And that blew out the chimney, set fire to the attic. The other house actually burned to the point where they had to redo the house, remake it. It was so badly damaged.
Amazing. Yeah. And we're getting into that season.
Geez, yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, lightning is a huge problem up in Alaska during the summer because it starts fires, forest fires. And it's a normal thing. I mean, they've learned now that they fight it when it threatens land or people, but for the most part, it's managed because it renews the forest. If a forest is over 150 years old, it's old, and especially the spruce forests, they get renewed by being burned. Because once they get so dense, animals literally can't walk around through them because
So
it's so dense.
it's not a problem. So it's
No, they have to manage it because of what it does to potentially to people.
Oh.
So, but they don't. It's not like they say, "Oh, every fire has to be put out."
Yeah. Huh? And you could not get to your car.
I couldn't get to my car. My car was stored. One of my managers has property and nearby, and she stored in my car for me. And wonderful. I've done it before, and they started up a couple of times. They moved around. So she sent me a picture. It was a lump, a snow lump out in the middle back of her yard. So by the time I left, she sent me another picture and showed the car, but the snow was down to where you could start to see the windows. And I was trying to get out there to try to start it up and see how it was. I put air in the tires or something. She said, "You'll need a shovel." And she said, "Do you have a set of waders?" Because it was as it was melting, it was just a mess and just slushy snow, but amazing. So I won't get to it till I go back in July.
Yeah.
But
hopefully by then
yeah.
it'll protrude out.
I hope. They're saying that some of the piles of snow that they've made from clearing snow, especially the ones at the airport, because they're 30 feet, 30, 40 feet high, these piles of snow, they said they'll be around till probably the end of the summer. It won't melt away completely.
Wow. Well,
But
it's all
yeah,
right.
it took a while to get used to the cold, but I was prepared. I actually had enough clothes. The only thing that was really cold was my hands. I couldn't work in mittens. So I used those little packets you put inside your gloves. And we would have to go out in the morning. The training we did was to train new drivers how to drive motor coaches and box trucks, class. There was some trainers that were doing class A tractor trailers, but I'm certified to train for class B. And this is where you go out in the morning and vehicles will be started by the mechanics. They plug them in overnight with heaters and they'd be out there running for an hour before you got to them. There was still no heat, not in the buses.
Wow.
The trucks, yes, because the trucks have water cooling systems that turn the heater on. But the buses, the heat in the front, at least for the driver, is like a long tube that comes up from the back, hot air. Nothing. You get out there and look at the temperature in the coach is 26. And you'd have to run it. You have to drive it before the heat would come up. So it was cold.
How long do the packets in the gloves last?
Oh, 6 hours.
Oh,
So, but yeah, when
Yeah.
the sun comes up and it starts to warm up a little bit, if it got up to 15, it would be 15 degrees. It's like, oh, it's so much better than it was when I got here when it was minus 10. So, yeah, I
well,
I wore long underwear for 50 days straight before I stopped wearing it. 50
you
days.
wore underwear 60 days
No,
straight?
no, not the same underwear, but long underwear. And they call it your first layer. And after you buy, remember the stuff we're used to? It's kind of like a rough terry cloth.
Yeah.
Don't wear that. You wear the super thin
Yeah.
combination nylon or silk like that, and it's amazing how well it works. I have a couple of pairs I bought of all places at Costco, and tops and bottoms, and it was amazing. And I bought some new boots, and I had these super thick plush socks, and it was great. My feet were never cold, just my hands.
Yeah.
I had a balaclava, and I had a hat over that, and I had gloves with liners and the heaters in them, and a puffy jacket.
Well, hey, you're back here,
Yeah,
all in one
Yeah.
piece.
all in one piece.
That
And
means it's okay.
the picture in the background here is actually from the Kenai Peninsula. This is Kenai Lake.
Yeah.
And I took this I guess it was 3 days ago. We were
Now,
the
this
final
is-
part of me working after we finished with all the students, taking them from literally people who have never driven a big vehicle before to having their certification and driving away in a bus in 2 months or less than 2 months.
This is
we
not
went out-
frozen, right?
What isn't?
The water is.
There's still some ice depending on where the sun is. Like this one is the sun is on behind, not in, is in front of the picture. So the sun, if you were standing there and you look to the behind you, that's where the sun would be. But other places where you were looking at a lake that was in the shade, there might still be ice on the water. Or if you're
Okay.
higher elevation, there might still be ice. The lakes might still be frozen.
It's amazingly pretty.
And that's literally the reflection of the lake. It was that calm. This was about 7:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Absolutely gorgeous. The sun, the weather since it got above freezing has been fabulous. It rained. First time it rained in Fairbanks was the day after I left. So,
All right.
yep.
Okay, let's switch gears here. You had the iPhone 4, right?
I had one. Yeah, I went through the 4, the 5,
Yeah.
the
So
6, and now I have the
Apple-
SE, or the 7 SE.
Apple has agreed to settle a long-lasting 6-year class action suit that accused it of knowingly slowing down iPhone 4S devices following the iOS 9 update in 2015. Agreeing to pay some iPhone 4S owners who had experienced poor performance, just some of them. I thought it was all the iPhone 4s. But they're going to pay them $15 each.
Wow, that'll make a big difference.
The class action suit, I think I will get the $15 check and frame it if I had one and just hang it on the wall. The class action suit was initially filed in December 2015 by plaintiffs representing a group of iPhone 4S customers from New York and New Jersey. The lawsuit accused Apple of falsely marketing the iOS 9 update as providing enchanted performance on devices it supports, including the iPhone 4S. So apparently it was beginning to hurt, so they decided to settle. I mean, whenever I hear settle, it's okay. Neither side can 100% say here's the proof.
Yeah, they're at the point where it's cheaper to pay it out than it is to go forward.
And that was it. So
But what was why were they doing it? They were doing it to make people buy new phones. Deliberately slowing them down.
Right.
So
but
it
I mean,
wasn't
you
like-
have to.
Yeah.
But you have to prove that.
Well, that they had back then. They had proof that people came forward and said, "We see what's happening," and they still denied it. That's the part that bothers me the most is the fact that they deny. They're like, well, yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
There should be a bigger fine for that than for what they pay people.
it
Planned
should. Yeah.
obsolescence.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't know how. I mean, you still have iPhone, right?
I do.
How long
I have
the
an
battery
iPhone S. I have the latest SE.
and how long the battery lasts? Roughly.
Under normal circumstances, all day. I always charge it every day. I've never if I let it go to the next day, I'm down to like 30%.
I have the Motorola G Power. It's their low end kind of. It's about 2-3 years. I don't remember. But the battery lasts easy 2 days before it's like below half. Yesterday I was helping Marshall do stuff, and we'll talk about this later. And I was on the phone quite a lot. From noon until probably about 8 o'clock. The battery was down to 33%. I've never seen it going down in one day that much. But it works. The problem is that when you charge it, it takes forever to charge also. It's a 5,000 milliamp hour.
5,000 amps. Wow.
5,000 milliamps battery, but it takes longer to charge. So, but
have you tried charging it with a higher power?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I know that does make a difference on my iPhone. I notice if I use a 1 amp charger, it takes a lot. If I have a 2.5 amp charger, it goes a lot faster.
That's what it's on. It's on a 2.4. Yeah.
When I'm roaming, especially like up in Alaska, you'd be driving along, it'd be no service.
Yeah.
Or it would be, there's some areas where it was 1x. It would drop pretty quick.
And you wouldn't put the phone in airplane mode because
I did when we were traveling. I only took it out of airplane mode to try to use it.
Okay. Yeah.
But for hours, those 2 days we were traveling south, I put it in airplane mode just to save the battery. And then when I got to the airport, because I was going to be flying all night, I found an outlet and I plugged in my 2.5 amp charger and I charged it up.
Yeah. It's talking about phone and 1X and all that. We were talking about the fact that 3G, G3, no, 3G. I always was shut down. So I know that somebody, that the same company, CPI, Hannah's using that, and we're using it. They went there and they updated her system to work with 4G. They don't go to 5, they go to 4.
Yeah, I think 5 requires a new modem, doesn't it? Or a new transceiver, because
I don't know, but why should they use that? I mean, if 4G is going to live for a lot longer, so it's cheaper.
Yeah, it'll outlive the phone.
She called and she said, "Dad, you need to call them." I said, "I'm sure they're going to call." She said, "No, you need to call them." So I called them, and sort of like reluctantly, they agreed to send somebody. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, it wasn't, "Oh yeah, yes, we'll do it." It was the week, 8 days later appointment, and they came. The guy came, and I mean, and we went through. Can I look at your account? And did that, and and all that. The guy came over. I had Kathy clean the area so he can work easy. And he comes in.
They came to the house? They came to your house?
Yeah, but they have to. Because it's the modem is inside, it's not outside.
Oh, right.
So he's going in there and he's looking at it, and it's mounted on the wall. And he says, "This is 4G." I said, "I don't know the difference." He said, "Yeah, that's 4G. It's got two antennas, one vertical, one horizontal." I said, "I didn't know it." I said, "Why didn't the people at the office knew that this was 4G? They look at my account up and down and all kind of different questions and all." He said, so he looked at me like, oh. I said, "That's amazing that the company will not know or will not pay attention to that and send somebody out for no reason." But I said, "Okay, no, you're here anyway." And he tested the whole system, and I mean that alarm was going on for about 5 minutes, and he checked all the doors and uh, all the detectors and everything. And I was always wondering, and if you have security system that is partly wireless, ours is partly wireless. Some doors were really way far to run cable to, so they put it wireless. And this was done probably about 10 years ago. And the only time I had to change batteries was in the smoke detector in the office.
Those batteries lasted all that time?
And yeah. And I told him, I said,
Wow.
"So can you check all the other door sensors? There are 2 or 3 of them wireless." He said, "Of course I will." So he did, and he said, "No, those batteries are fine." I said, "What in the," and I mean, they're like half a AA battery.
What, are they 12-volt batteries?
I'm not sure. Didn't look.
Does they have one size was a little 12-volt one was the common one you used in remotes, car remotes for a long time ago.
Oh.
And I'm also in my old garage door opener uses these small 12-volt batteries.
Well, I mean,
they last a long time.
The amazing thing is that he said, "No, you don't need. I mean, they're fine. If you want, I'll order them and we'll send some." I said, "No, it's fine, as long as it's okay," because it on the smoke detector it came up and told, batteries, smoke detector, blah blah blah, but it never did it for anything else. And I thought that now I understand why. I thought that when you open the door and you leave it open, that it's continuously sending
Status.
And it's not. He was saying you open the door, it sends the signal for about a minute, and then it shuts down. And you close the door, and it sends the signal, and after a minute, it shuts down. So that makes sense because we leave like the back door in the office when I'm sitting there. The door is open all the time to the backyard, and I figured, the batteries in it are going to go bad fast, but it amazing.
It makes sense. It only sends changes.
Yeah, it's nice, and this is an old system, but it works. It's fine. They said, yeah, everything is working fine. Very, very nice.
My system is acting weird.
As in,
I have UMA. The sensors are working, but if the front door opens, it sends me 6 messages
saying
so I have different notification. What?
Different messages or
no,
the same
one. It'll say front door open, front door open, front door open, and it drives me nuts with the all the crazy.
Interesting.
And the point is that Pam is home. It should be in home mode. It should not be sending me this message. So I reset it while I was away. But I would get a whole string of text messages when Pam would come home. Garage door open, garage door open, garage door open in a row. And then back door open, front, it's just something's not right.
So
although I'm switching over, I'm going to be doing away with Uma and going with Wise.
did you listen to the show when we found out that Wise is not what we think it is?
No, I didn't listen.
Yeah, there was something there about Wise, and I don't remember, but they had a big breach, and they it was very negative.
Oh, I didn't hear this.
I said, yeah. Anyway, but I mean, are you going to be able to use the same sensors or any parts from the UMA?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
And this is why you're switching?
No, I was going to switch on it because I wanted all the cameras and all that to work together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I like their cameras.
Yeah,
and I have had some issues with Wise. While I was away, I did have an issue with the system went down for a day. Their side went down for a day. But other than that, it's been good. I've installed it in other places. So was it there was some kind of fraud or something like that, or was it a legal thing? Or
I don't know. It wasn't a legal thing. It was. Shoot, I mean, if anybody remembers, I don't remember, but I mean, you can look in the on demand, and because I'm sure I mentioned Wise, and I read it and I said, "Oh, Spence needs to know about that." I don't.
Did they have you said they had a press conference or something?
No.
Oh.
A breach. A breach, and they said that I think they had a breach, and they're found out that they're using data from users, I think, and it wasn't a technical.
Oh, it's a data breach. It says I got it here. I got the story.
Okay.
And 2019,
and then they were talking about the fact that I better not say anything because I don't remember. I'll say the wrong thing. Anyway, while you're updating yourself, talking about streaming.
Wise didn't completely fix flaws in security cameras for 3 years.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had a problem with it and they ignored it.
They didn't finish patching the security vulnerabilities till January 2022.
Yeah.
They're being criticized for the way they handled the data breach from March 2019.
It was the version
March 2019.
1, something about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So YouTube Go is shutting down beginning this August. Google has announced last week. The lightweight Android app first launched in 2016 and features online viewing and nearby sharing. Like other apps designed for emerging markets, YouTube Go includes a suite of features that takes into consideration the high cost of data, poor signal strength, and the prevalent use of SD cards on Android devices. YouTube Go first launched in India and later became available in more than 130 countries worldwide. The company notes that since 2016, it has invested in improvements to the main YouTube app that makes it perform better in emerging markets while also delivering a better user experience.
So when we say emerging markets, we mean poor coverage.
Well,
serious. I mean, really, you're thinking about low speeds. That's what would affect it. So what does it do? Lower video quality?
Yeah, that's
more
what
buffering.
Yep.
That's something you could use everywhere.
So they think that their regular YouTube app will take will take its place. But they're closing the service. So just be aware this August. I when I read this story, I always think about you back in the old days when we met, when you had that key that when you wanted to connect to your server service, you had something that was generating a password for you, like a key. It wasn't something that stayed static. Remember that? It was
Yeah.
something on like on your keychain that with Nortel or with whoever. So Apple, Google, and Microsoft are launching a joint effort to kill the password. The major OS vendors want to expand support for a common passwordless sign-in standard created by the FIDO Alliance and the World Wide Web Consortium. The standard is being called either a multi-device FIDO credential or just Passkey. Instead of a long string of characters, this new scheme would have the app or website you're logging into push a request to your phone for authentication. From there, you'll need to unlock the phone, authenticate with some kind of PIN or biometric, and then you're on your way. This sounds like a familiar system for anyone with phone-based two-factor authentication set up, but this is a replacement for the password rather than an additional factor. So it's like you logging in just with the second factor of two-factor authentication.
Yeah, but what's the failsafe if you don't have a
Well,
connection?
We
You
already
still have to have a way to log in.
I think we also talked about this already, that to go to your phone is not safe because phone numbers can be easily hijacked. So they have to work on that too, I guess. Some push 2FA systems work over the internet, but this new FIDO scheme works over Bluetooth. As the white paper explains, Bluetooth requires physical proximity, which means that we now have a phishing-resistant way to leverage the user's phone during authentication.
Okay, but I still I don't.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand how this can. What Bluetooth entity are you checking in with?
With the phone.
No, but I
But
mean,
the phone,
it says it
right.
uses Bluetooth.
Yeah, and close proximity from what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was an effort at one point to do security. It probably is available out there, but so there's something called near field communications, which is another low power. I don't know how well it's adopted or used, but that you would walk up to your desk and have some type of a fob, a RFID tag or something that would be you'd swipe it and your desk would automatically become your desk. The lights would be adjusted. It would log you in. It would make the phone your phone, and all these things would happen as a hot desking solution. If you're using Bluetooth, then there have to be a whole lot of Bluetooth sensors out there.
Yeah, I know. That's what it says. Bluetooth has a terrible reputation for compatibility.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure security has ever been a real concern. But the FIDO Alliance notes that Bluetooth is just to verify physical proximity, and they don't say to where, and that the actual sign-in process does not depend on Bluetooth security properties. Of course, that means both devices, and again, they're not saying what devices, will need Bluetooth on board, which is a given for most smartphones and laptops, but could be a tough ask for older desktop PCs. I mean, you can always put a card in there or plug it in. Yeah. But the thing is, it's kind of vague, and I don't know if what are the two devices that need to be in proximity in near each other. But sounds nice.
I'd like to understand what the backhaul of this thing is going to look like. And maybe, well, first thing I could think of is, we're going to install Bluetooth every 50 feet across the whole country. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to be in a very narrow environment. It's the only way.
So now let's go back to the way that, I don't know, did you know how your system was working back then?
What system?
That system with the key that you would.
No, it was experimental. It was not.
But do you know how it was working?
Yeah.
So do you think that is a secure way to do it even today, or was it not really secure?
No, it was secure in that you had I don't know if the tag could be hacked. That's the part I don't know.
Okay.
Near field is literally another radio communication method. And depending on what type of encryption the handshake uses, can you counterfeit the fob, right? Or the RFID tag? Is that possible? Because I know now they're saying with credit cards, your card has an RFID tag in it, right?
Right.
That's used for, and now remember hearing the stories that somebody could walk by you in an airport and steal your card.
Yeah.
Right. So if that's possible, why wouldn't it be possible using, I mean, they can steal your remote entry fob frequency from your card. They can be standing there within a few feet of you when you push your button and copy it. And then get in your car. So these things are possible, and that's encrypted. They just copy the whole packet and just send the same packet again.
They don't need to know what it is as long as it works. Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's I'm the only saving grace of this is that if those three, Apple, Google, and Microsoft, are getting into it, then there may be something to it. You'd like to think.
And I just thought of something else. Could it be that now people are making a big deal about getting chipped, right?
Yeah.
That everybody is going to have a chip. And there are people who already have. And you're authenticating between you and the device using Bluetooth.
Okay,
You come to the device, it's me, and logs you in. Maybe it's not a back-end authentication. Maybe it's a local device authentication, which I am not going to do. Ain't putting nothing in my body.
Yeah. Again, I mean, it's something that you can something at least will work, but you don't have to have it in your body. You can wear it. Of course, this could be stolen, but I mean, somebody would have to steal it and then steal your hijack your phone
now,
and all
you've
that.
You've already got a very good biometric way of accessing your phone with the fingerprint scanner.
Yeah,
but that can be fake too.
Yeah, or if it's something real important, they'll kidnap you and cut your finger off. Yeah.
I mean,
so I don't know. It's interesting though. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to just wait and see. So this is, again, it comes at the right time, and people need to know about this. the company behind the TurboTax filing program, company behind Intuit, will pay $141 million to customers across the United States who were deceived by misleading promises of free tax filing services. New York Attorney General announced Wednesday. You know how all these commercials, free. They were saying that if you use TurboTax, you can file your taxes for free.
Oh, yeah, free, sure.
And that was not free. Under the terms of settlement signed by the attorneys general of all 50 states, Mountain View, California-based Intuit Incorporated will suspend TurboTax's free ad campaign and pay restitution to nearly 4.4 million taxpayers. This is from the Attorney General of New York. She also said that her investigation into Intuit was sparked by a 2019 ProPublica report that found the company was using deceptive tactics to steer low-income tax filers away from the federally supported free services for which they qualified and toward its own commercial product instead. So a lot of these people could probably qualify for help from the government that will not cost them anything. And they saw this and they went for it because free. So,
Free.
Yeah, free, my,
Yeah, my patootie.
Yeah. So it's you need to see if you use that and had to pay, I think it was $60 or something like that, or more for filing, then you can get reimbursed, or you'll be part of the if you should be a part of the
Class
action suit, because
that
it
usually
was
doesn't
already,
pay very well for the user.
I know, but whatever it is, I mean,
Yeah, like
especially
I have a
when
check.
especially when it's low income people. I mean,
you mentioned earlier putting a check on the wall if you got the settlement.
Yeah.
I have a check on the wall for 23 cents, which I never cashed from a hard drive manufacturer.
Yep.
Actually, I have it up on my bulletin board. It's like,
oh boy. Yeah.
Amazing.
Let me see. Yaakov is not here. Oh. It's I was hoping that Gal was going to be here. A federal judge has ordered all internet service providers in the United States to block 3 pirate streaming services operated by 2 defendants who never showed up into court and hid behind false identities. The blocking orders affect Israel.tv, Israeli-tv.com, and Sdarot.tv, Sdarot, as well as related domains listed in the ruling and any other domains where the copyright infringing websites may resurface in the future. The orders came in 3 essential identical ruling issued on April 26 in U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York. I know some people that watch the Israeli TV on their computer, and I'm sure this is part of this. But it's interesting that they went after that, after these. There's still a lot of services out there that actually people pay money, just like this, and get pirated streams, and nothing is done about it. So it's interesting.
It's interesting that people would pay the pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's you can get free pirated stuff if you look.
Well,
I know,
yeah.
but
I like this thing here, but of course,
one other thing I wanted just
Yeah,
quickly about that reminded me of something was that the internet in the
In
places
Alaska.
that I had been, they have definitely upgraded within the hotels in Fairbanks. Holy cow! I mean, you literally have at least AC Wi-Fi, and the speeds I was getting, even with a VPN, was 100 meg.
How big was the hotel size wise? What would you?
Size wise, it had two towers. One was 4 stories high, and one was 9 stories high.
So it's not like just changing one router.
No, they had. I walked down the hall, and outside of the room doors are in quads. So you
Yeah.
have 2 doors on one side, 2 doors on the other side. Every one of those
Every
spaces
cluster.
had an access point.
Oh.
Outside of every door.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's nice.
Last time I was there, the only good Wi-Fi was in the lobby, and it was like 3 or 4 meg. That was it. So they've upgraded. They must have. I know the last time I was there, they were digging and putting in fiber optics on the 2 main highways coming up from Anchorage. So the infrastructure has just infinitely gotten better.
Good.
Yeah, very good. And the prices have gone down. I was on the Verizon network, when I was not roaming on Verizon, I was getting 40, 50 meg over the broadband.
Wow.
So now, granted, it's not tourist season. When tourists are there and the hotel is filled with people, it might be different. But the hotel, I wouldn't say it was high occupancy.
And you don't remember those access points? I mean, did you pay
I
attention?
couldn't. I looked for a brand name on. They all look the same now, right? There's not a
Okay.
very distinctive, just a square box with a LED on it. There were no names, and I knew if it was Cisco, it would probably say Cisco. Usually, everything they have has the logo on it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The point is, you had good internet.
Good service, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. In October 2021, PC World reviews Windows 11 and labeled it as an unnecessary replacement to Windows 10 and did not recommend it for Windows 10 users. PC World noted that it was a mixed bag of improved features and unnecessary changes. 6 months later, they reviewed it again. While Microsoft has made improvements, PC World does not feel the improvements warrant a recommendation for Windows 10 users to upgrade. That is amazing. That a publication such as PC World would say that. I don't know if Microsoft probably pulled all their advertising from PC World, so PC World decided. I don't know. But this is amazing.
We're seeing a lot of amazing things every day that we would never expect to see.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, it's just like some smart, some extremely stupid. But what can you say?
Mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, granted, I still don't have a machine running Windows 11.
I don't either, and
Yeah.
I can't imagine me doing it right now.
But talking about upgrading, customer needed to upgrade their machines to Windows 10. Still using Windows 7. Everything works great. Connected to a Microsoft server, Windows Server 12, I believe. But because they need to upgrade QuickBooks, the latest QuickBooks, the big player, piece of software, not the QuickBooks that I use like here, requires Windows 10 at least.
There was a QuickBooks issue. Was it related to operating system or browsers for a while?
Yeah,
I remember back installing versions on an accountant's machine.
they wanted you to use Explorer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the only thing that would work. And this is recent. This is not just
Now,
like
I mean,
years ago.
I don't know about the big Premiere or whatever they call it, the $5,000 package.
But it was very annoying to a lot of people because, IE theoretically is gone.
Oh, it's gone.
I mean, it's gone. You can't.
It's not supported. Let's put it this way.
If you can go find it.
Yeah, but it's not supported.
But yeah, I mean, there was a customer. I went back and forth trying to help this guy find it, and I did stumble across a way to essentially turn it back on using a registry hack, and it was the only way because he had a machine crash and rebuilt, and it didn't have Windows IE on it, and he was screwed. So yeah, it wasn't fun.
I'm reading the chat. Alan says the only technology I want in such a trip is good AM/FM. Oh, I thought you said chip. Oh, you're talking to him already, so that's fine. So you're following the chat, right?
I'm trying to, Alan. I apologize if I'm not keeping up with it. But
okay, that's fine. So anyway, we started talking, and that's remote. I'm not there, and decided that first of all, he needs to clone each machine and have a drive on the side for that purpose, like a backup.
Yes.
So he's got 10 machines. He ordered 10 drives. Then we're saying, okay, really, I mean, and it's a good thing we did that. To be on the safe side, let's just back up the important file, like the user files or anything else that's in its own folders on the drive somewhere else also. So I told them how to go to the users and pick up the user of the machine, drag that to an external drive under their own name, and see if there are any other folders under the C drive that are important. Like if somebody installed something and find out that they put FedEx, that they do the shipping, is on its own right under the root folder. Yeah, you need that too. So we did that. And one of the more simple machines, some of them have a lot of stuff. Some of them are almost stripped. We did that, copied everything, and then decided, okay, he wants to know how to clone. So I had him download the WD Acronis, and he did. And I told him what to check and how to, The weird thing was when you go into cloning, it asks you what is the source and what is the target.
Destination.
Target. Well, he said, so do I have drive 1 and I have drive 3. I said, what about drive 2? He said, there isn't.
Well, what about drive 0?
No, that's the thing. Windows shows 0, 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Acronis shows 1, 2, 3, 4.
And that's logical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fine, but there was a skip. And I said, I don't understand why there's a skip unless
It could be a backup partition that's not.
Well, yeah, right. It could be all kind of things, but this is no. Wait a second. This is not partition because when you go, because we went into administrative tools on Windows 7 and looked at the computer management, and there, sure enough, was 0 and 2, and then there was CD-ROM. There was no 1. There was no second drive.
Could be there was one there at one
Right.
time.
That's what I thought. I
Yeah.
said, well,
And it was gone. Yeah.
so I said, that's
Once
fine.
it sets the order, it won't reorder them when a drive disappears.
Yeah. So I said, that's okay. I mean, at least we know that the current drive is 0 and the target is 2. So we went and did it. And you know how those clone programs work. They go and they figure out and then they restart the machine and they go and do it. Well, this one will not come back. It just sat there for a long time and not come back. And finally it came back and said, no boot drive found. I said, okay, so just restart it. I remember this happened to me once. And restarting it just, it erases that entry that you have to go, that tells the operating system when the computer, when the computer reboots, instead of going to Windows, you need to load our own OS. But that came back and said, this is the MAC address of the machine, and this is that, and no boot drive found. So there was no boot drive found, and he could not reboot that machine again. We still don't know what's the reason. But at least that was a good thing that he backed up all the important files, the user folder,
Wow.
into another drive. Windows and other stuff you can load. So I'm going to have to work on it a little bit this afternoon to see if there's something we can do to get that machine. I don't believe that anything could have happened to the drive just like that, unless it's a real fluke that it happened at the same time. But to back up to an external drive, your user folder is a nice thing to do besides backing up the whole drive or cloning the drive. The only reason you clone a drive versus running any kind of a backup, quote unquote, that copies file by file is when you have a clone, then you can restore it and boot from the drive. So it's a lot easier.
What happens when you have, if it's going to back up the user folder, what if you have multiple users?
Then you have to, I mean, you can copy, you can drag the users.
Oh, so it's a manual process.
Oh, this is manual. Yeah, I had him go to the C drive and pick up.
Or if you use an automated backup, you can just have it say these folders.
Yeah, you can say this copy, and you say, C users Amnon star or Amnon to
we'll
the
cover every copy everything.
Yeah, I do that in a batch file, but not for the whole user folder, just for the document, which has a bunch of stuff underneath it.
Yeah, I think if I lost one of my machines, I know I have all my data backed up.
Yeah,
a lot of things backed up. If I would have to rebuild the machine, obviously, but I'd have enough information to do it. It might be a pain in the butt. I have clones, but they're pretty old.
Well, that's the thing, is you need to remember to clone it on, let's put, semi-regular basis even.
I have Acronis do a full disk backup once a month. But I have used it. I have verified that it works.
Mm-hmm.
At their suggestion, when I cloned the drive when I was creating a new machine, I cloned the drive over and it says, we suggest that you don't just do a restore, do a regular restore. Don't just, it was, they said, wanted to make sure that your actual recovery process works.
Yeah, to restore and check
Yeah.
it, kind of compare it to the original.
Don't clone it. Just said back it up and restore it instead of just
to see that it works.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Oh, it is. It's tedious.
Yeah, but I'm still using program that you introduced me to over 10 years ago.
Second copy.
Second copy.
I have a licensed version of it too. It's great.
Yep. And it backs up. Every time you change a file, it copies it over to another drive. So in essence, you have a complete drive on another drive in a folder. So you have the important files that you need. Yeah, a backup in many cases is not in one place. It will be in different places, but you won't lose it. And that's what
if you have an actual available spinning drive with your backup folders on it, you could still work.
Sure.
All you have to do is go into another machine and access that remote folder, and there's your documents.
Yes.
That's the easiest way to do it. Yeah. So that I forgot about that. That really does make it easier.
Yeah. And
you may not have all the programs loaded that you need. You can do that, but I mean, most of my machines that I have that I use on a regular basis have the same programs.
Yeah. And
what's missing from the one I'm on now, I think, is an actual full version of Acrobat, which I use on the other machine, which is Acrobat 10, by the way.
With the NAS drive, it's real easy to do it these days. You don't even need to know anything about networking. Just buy one of those high capacity USB drives and plug it into your router. Yeah, you have to make sure that your router has that.
Yeah, and it's the most you have to do in a case like that through the setup usually is just name it.
Yep.
Give it a name. Otherwise, it'll have a Netgear.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, and it will be and then make sure you can connect to it. Create a
mapping.
Map the drive directly, so when it comes up, it starts that drive. Yeah, I can't say how important that is. It's so easy.
Yeah,
much easier. Remember when my Western Digital network drive died?
No,
and I'm looking at this thing and I'm saying this is all proprietary. And this literally you couldn't access that drive, network drive, as maybe you could. Maybe it had to be Samba or something like that. But it was not. You used the application to get to it. You didn't just have it show up as a drive. Having it show up as a drive is so much better.
Sure.
And I used to back up using the software allowed me to back up to other drives, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But to get to the Western Digital drive, you couldn't take that drive out and put it in another machine and get to the data because it was in a proprietary format. So I'm glad that broke, because I realized after the fact that it wasn't a friendly system.
No, it is. It's just like the first NAS that I had. That was, I think it was a Samsung or something like that. It had 2 drives, rated, but you couldn't do anything unless it had the program that could access it running on the computer. Now, if the computer dies, what do you do? No, this way to connect it to your router and everything is there. Like I said, in plain English, it's just like another external drive, just like a thumb drive. You plug it in and you read it. Yep. Is Gene here? Gene is not here. The only reason I'm saying is because Gene is IBM. So listen to this. IBM announces IBM I. And some of you may know it under the old name as AS400.
Oh, no.
Do you remember those?
Yeah. Oh, I have to tell my brother-in-law he was a big ass 400 guy.
Yep. So now
Yeah.
they updated it to 7.5. The first new release in 3 years since the 7.4 release. One of the big headlines with the IBM i 7.5 announcement is Merlin, which stands for the Modernization Engine for Life Cycle Integration. Boy, a lot of big words.
How much did they pay the consultant to come up with that one? Wow. And that actually sometimes they'll take a word and they'll make a brand name behind it, and it doesn't make any sense. But that one actually, everything that's part of that name makes sense.
Modernization Engine for Life Cycle Integration.
And I understand what that means instead of being some gibberish.
Yeah. What does Alan say about?
Oh, we were talking about backups.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I asked
Carbonite.
him how much he has in the cloud.
Yeah.
And damn, that's a lot of stuff in the cloud. 850 gig.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Alan, you're supporting Carbonite. They're 1% of their income is from you.
No, I think they're all at this point.
Max,
there's no limit on personal stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Because I switched to Backblaze from Carbonite, and because it was easy, because they both had unlimited, and Backblaze was cheaper a few years ago. I don't know how it is today, but yeah, when it works, it works. And Alan, you can't just have this backup, just Carbonite.
He's got local network drives too.
That's it.
So what he does is he backs all his machines up to his Carbonite drive, and then the Carbonite drive backs those up to the cloud.
Right.
Yeah.
But as long as you also have a backup locally, that's what you need.
He's got it. He's got both. Yeah.
That's the trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. A lot of people, I mean, today it's not hard to do a backup. It will be spread. I mean, backups, multiple backups. In the old days, when you had to sit there and feed floppies into the machine to do a backup, that would be impossible. Today, there's no reason not to, especially when people leave their machine on all night. They don't work hard on it all day, so it can take some time to do backup. And you can have multiple backups. The only time you appreciate it is when your hard drive fails. If your hard drive, knock on wood, did not fail, and I don't wish it on anybody, you can't really appreciate having good backups. Once your drive fails, you suddenly become religious about backing up. But sometimes this is too late.
Some people become religious. Others just
it all depends. It all
quickly
depends.
Forget.
I mean, everybody become religious if it costs them a good amount of money that they need it. I mean, a lot of people don't understand. It's not just your documents, though. I mean, today a lot of people back up their phones, their photos to the computer. A lot of people don't do it, and it's only on the phone. It's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, I was just recently. I lost all my pictures. Well, where were they? On my phone.
Yeah.
If you have Apple, you can pay 99 cents a month for
50
gigabytes worth of storage, and just have everything automatically back up.
Right.
It's like, why wouldn't you do that?
You don't even have to do it. Even on Android, you can back it up to Google.
Yep.
and it just syncs it all the time.
And it's not expensive.
No, it's not. Especially, it's not expensive when it comes to how much will you pay in order to recover stuff if you had to from a bad drive. So, yeah. Okay, so Alan,
Backblaze is remarkably inexpensive. It's $7 a month, and it's
well,
$70 per year if you pay for the year.
actually, I think $50-some a year. Or
Well, I'm looking at
61 or so. Yeah, I'm
online
looking.
now. Their pricing says
Okay.
unlimited data for personal use is $70 a
Yeah,
year.
okay.
So you might have a deal. It's just still.
I mean, when I subscribed, I think I paid for 3 or 4 years.
It says $130 for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's you're talking about a few dollars this way or that way. I think the other reason I did it, I switched to Backblaze is because it was faster. Carbonite became real slow in backing up. And Backblaze, everybody was saying it's faster, and sure enough, it didn't take long to get the problem is the first backup because it sucks everything. And yeah, what Alan is saying that he's copying it to his main drive that's being backed up. That's the way to do it because with Carbonite, if you have 3 machines at home, you cannot back up 2 of them to the same account. I mean, it's on one machine and that's it. So what you do is you run batch files to copy the important files that you want from the other machine to the one that's being backed up by Carbonite, and then
does Carbonite know if it's a network drive?
Yes.
So they won't back up.
They
a network
will not
drive.
back it up. I mean, no, they will if you pay for it.
You have to
pay more.
The basic service won't.
No, it
drive.
will not. Not external drives. Not one drive.
Yeah.
The C drive.
Yeah. So you just have to have that one dedicated local spinning drive.
Yeah.
Or local drive that you point everything to.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had a cloud backup for a while. I need to get back into it again. I'm satisfied because I'm backed up in so many places that I wouldn't, it'd be okay. But the problem is when I finally sit down, if I have to do it, it's like, where was that again?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. That's a lot faster than if you have to recover. So you may have to look for it and say, where did I put that? Where is it?
I had a customer, I had to pull down a folder that got corrupted.
Yeah.
And the way to do it, I had to go in and individually choose the files. It was really tedious, and did recover everything, but it took forever, days.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Oh well.
All right. It seems like the UK is really getting serious about reining in the big tech to the point that is it really worth? It says large tech companies such as Google and Facebook will have to abide by new competition rules in the UK or risk facing huge fines. The new Digital Markets Unit, DMU, will be given powers to clamp down on predatory practices of some firms. The regulators will also have the power to fine companies up to 10% of their global turnover if they fail to comply.
10%?
10% of their world, yeah. The Department of Digital Culture, Media, and Sports, DCMS, said as well as large fines. Tech firms could be handed additional penalties of 5% of daily global turnover for each day an offense continues. for companies like Apple that could be tens of billions of US dollars. Senior managers will face civil penalties if their firms fail to engage properly with requests for information. That's coming from the government. However, it is unclear when exactly the changes will come into force, as the government has said the necessary legislation will be introduced in due course. But I mean, they're taking steps to really, hey, Facebook, we want you to behave that way. We don't want you to mess up. And 10%. I mean,
Have fun collecting it.
I don't know. Then they said you can't operate here. I guess they could say that. I don't know. And talking about podcasting, Facebook's podcast offerings are vanishing just a year after they launched. Parent company Meta has confirmed to Bloomberg that it will wind down podcasting, sound bites, and its general audio hub. It will no longer let podcasters add shows to Facebook as of this week, and will remove them entirely on June 3rd. The hub and soundbites will close sometimes in the coming weeks, while live audio rooms will fold into Facebook Live. A Meta spokesperson characterized the move as a matter of concentration. The move will help Meta focus on the most meaningful experience, according to the representative. I mean, yeah, why not use Facebook Live? And if you are uploading stuff, then put it on your page. And there are a lot of other services for podcasters that do podcasting, audio only, shows, recordings. A lot of them do it like that because it's a whole lot easier to edit after the fact.
Did you see the story about Facebook? Well, their stock got hammered, but there are other things going on financially for them that are not good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's not just Facebook.
no, it's not just Facebook, but they're the latest story that I just read was that something else just hit them again. The last couple of days, just another report, or I mean, this is part of it. They're doing away with some of these services that are not cost effective or.
I did not see that. I mean, do you have the story?
Do I have the story? I have to go find. I don't remember how I found it.
Okay.
I have a news aggregator on my phone that I use that pulls stories up, and it's not easy to go back and find something after a couple of days.
Okay. Oh,
But
interesting.
yeah, I can't remember what it was now. Oh, they're just there's the not to mention that, but also the stockholder lawsuit against them. So
Their own.
Yeah.
Because of?
well, maybe I have this mixed up. Bear with me. My mind is not.
No, it's
exactly
fine.
straight.
It's fine.
I'll try. I'll find it. I'll look here now.
All right.
Look.
If you're using Google Docs, a bug in Google Docs is causing it to crash when a series of words are typed into a document opened with the online word processor. It's official. Google Docs crashes at the sight of end period, end period, end period, end period, end period. When the show grammar suggestion is turned on. A Google Docs user brought up the issue on Google Docs Editor's Help Forum. Another user said strings like but, period, but, period, but, triggered the same response. Some also notice putting any of the terms like also, therefore, and, anyway, but, who, any words that you go word, period, same word, period, same word, period, same word, period, in the same format, achieve the outcome. Once crashed, you may not be able to easily re-access the document, as doing so would trigger the crash again. Bleeping Computer was able to reproduce the issue last week and reached out to Google. Google told them it is aware of the bug and working on a fix. Until Google has an answer as to what causes this problem, it might be wise to turn off grammar suggestions by navigating to Tools, Spelling and Grammar, and unticking Show Grammar Suggestions. I don't know who's going to put and in any kind of document.
Somebody who's got a broken keyboard. So
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing. It's
interesting stories about Facebook.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg's security costs reach $27 million a year to protect him.
Wow.
They're spending on personal security for him. Wisconsin woman sues Meta over her son's suicide. He became addicted to the defendant's social media product and led to his suicide. Well, that could happen to anything, anywhere, which who knows?
Right. But what's why did their value go down again?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I think that might have been a week or two old story. But
okay.
they hit a rough patch, and then it was a big loss, and now they said they continue. They're not gaining. So,
well,
this is interesting. This is a site called newser.com, and they have a section that's on Facebook. Of just you just click on the Facebook section. It shows you all the latest stories about Facebook. Facebook and Meta.
Oh, all right. Well, let's see what else I have here. Oh, yeah, that's the Federal Trade Commission last week said it has moved to stop internet service provider Frontier Communications from lying to consumers and charging them for high-speed internet speeds it fails to deliver. Frontier was sued by the FTC in May 2021, and last Thursday it agreed to a settlement with the FTC and district attorneys in Los Angeles County and Riverside County, who represented the people of California. Frontier must pay $8.5 million to California for investigation and litigation costs, and another $250,000 that will be distributed to Frontier customers who were harmed by Frontier's alleged actions. Frontier must also make changes such as letting customers cancel service at no charge and discontinuing the bills of California customers who have not been notified that they are receiving DSL service that is much slower than the highest advertised speed. So I don't know why it's only in California. Maybe other states have the same thing but didn't get to sue them yet.
California lives in its own time machine.
Yeah. But the thing is, come on, if you are saying that you're delivering 100 megabits and then your customers are getting 5 megabits or 10 megabits. Come on. That's that's bad. You should be getting fined and skewered. And Spence,
Well,
we all
if it says 100 megabits asterisk, it should be, and at the bottom of the page it says your service may vary.
yeah. Spence, we're always talking about Wi-Fi.
What's that?
Wi-Fi.
Why?
Yeah. Oh, why? Hi. So 6 is just kind of putting its foot in the door, try to come in. And it's looking increasingly likely that Wi-Fi 7 will be an option next year. This week, Qualcomm joined the list of chip makers detailing Wi-Fi 7 products they expect to be available to homes and businesses soon. The Wi-Fi Alliance, which makes Wi-Fi standards and includes Qualcomm as a member, has said that Wi-Fi 7 will offer a max throughput of at least 30 gigabits. And last Wednesday, Qualcomm said its Network Pro Series Gen 3 platform will support up to 33 gigabits. These are theoretical speeds that you likely won't reach in your home and will need a premium broadband connection and Wi-Fi 7 devices, which don't yet exist. Still, the speeds represent an impressive jump from Wi-Fi 6 and 6E's 9.6 gigabits.
So it's 10 gig tri-band 6 streams, 16 gig quad band 8 streams, 21 gig tri-band 12 streams, and the 33 gig is quad band 16 streams. Wow.
Yep. Now, the truth is, for homes, I don't even know that somebody needs a gigabit. I mean, seriously, think about it. Unless you work from home and you transfer a lot of files back and forth and things like, yeah. But for
And
home,
that's very limited unless you're a video editing company that needs to transfer enormous
that's true.
files.
Yeah.
What other files are going to be that big?
It's just for the speed, so you can send it fast. Now, you also have to take into consideration and a lot of people don't think about it, and they say, "Oh, my 1 gigabit doesn't work fast." Well, you have to consider the other side. If the other side does not have a gigabit, and not many of them do, unless you're a huge company that can afford it, then you are driving 100 miles an hour, or your car that can do 200 miles an hour drives through what is it, New York, Long Island Expressway. I mean, it's going to be slow, so you can't say my car will not drive fast. It's the same thing. And if you hit any bottleneck along the way, again, it's like that. So, but given, I mean, think about it. Today, to get a gigabit from Bell South, I mean, from AT&T or from Google, costs about $70, anywhere from 60 to 80.
Remember what it used to cost to get a T1?
Yeah, forget it. But and then you have people like Frontier or Spectrum and stuff that they give you 200 or 400, and in many cases it's more than the 1 gigabit. So then if you have 400 megabits from Spectrum and you're paying 60 some dollars, now 400 for a household with kids and stuff is enough, but may not be. depending what you're doing, especially if you work from home. So at that point, if you have to pay another $10 even and go to something faster, if it's available, that makes good sense. But here again, they're talking about Wi-Fi 6, 9.6 megabits. I mean, gigabits. How long is it going to take before we have 9 gigabits or 10 gigabits at home? And for what?
For some company to make a bunch of money installing new infrastructure.
Yeah. I mean, they already advertised, AT&T advertised now available 5 gigabits. Okay, so it's 5. Wi-Fi 6 is fast enough.
There are people who would go into a car dealership and it's like, how high does the speedometer go on this car?
Yeah.
Right. Remember that? Like, my car has 180 mile an hour speedometer.
Yeah.
When are you going to drive it to 180 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Just a thing. You go, oh, look at the speedometer should be limited to like 80 because it'd be going that fast anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. Some people just like to say, yeah, I have that. I said it a few times here that over here I have Google Fiber 1 gigabit, not 2 gigabits. I don't need it. Their lowest thing now is 1 gigabit. You can't get less. And for redundancy, I have AT&T, which I had DSL, which was more than their fiber service for 500 megabits. So I have AT&T 500 megabits because they do have 300, 350 or 300, whatever. But when I got it, 500 was cheaper than the 300.
What was the service that they offered to homes that was basically two T1s plus a bearer channel? ISDN.
It's not 2 T1s. It's 256.
It was 2. I thought it was 2 64K channels
plus
a
264
a 16-bit channel.
The 16-bit was for the backhaul. So you
ISDN,
get 120.
We used to call it I still don't need.
Yeah, I still don't know. I still don't need. Yeah.
That was a big deal. That was basically you could dedicate one. You could use the full bandwidth for data, or you could have one channel be for your phone, and it would be a way to have a phone line, a POTS line in your house.
Yeah. And back then, I remember Nortel. I think that was before I met you. It was probably in the early 90s. Because of the bulletin board and all that, they actually installed an ISDN line here and give me all the equipment to use it in order to see how it works. And back then, the fastest thing was not even, I don't think it was even 50, what was it, the speed, the dial-up. It was just dial-up. It was 52, 54.
Theoretically maxed out at 56.
Yeah, 56.
Yeah.
I mean, back when it was 128, and it's really more than 128 when you think about the compression. It was fast. I mean, 128 back then was lightning fast. It was nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what was the modem that came with the I can't remember the name.
I still have 2 of them. I can't remember. I still have.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nick.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
What are you doing here?
I got out of my engagement, so I'm wanted to jump in before the show wrapped up.
Yeah.
You canceled your engagement?
Correct. Well, no, I didn't cancel. I finished the engagement.
Okay.
And now I'm here.
Take a shower?
What?
Nothing.
Happy Mother's Day to all of the
Oh yeah,
all the
we
mothers out
forgot
there.
to say Happy
How about
Mother's
that,
Day.
yeah.
That's
Oh
right.
my god.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I showed
Sorry.
up. I mean, that would have been
Sorry.
incredibly bigoted.
I mean, yeah. So yeah,
I'm not even sure what day it is, Nick. So it's okay.
When did you get back?
Yesterday.
Mm.
I slept. I didn't sleep on the plane overnight, and then I literally slept 12 hours last night.
Oh yeah, that's the best kind of
Pam was
sleep.
really pulling on me this morning at 5 minutes to 9. She says, "Didn't you want to get up?"
Well, it's fine.
Oh. And this picture, Nick, is an actual picture I took 2 days ago. It's just awestruck. It was just Kenai, Lake Kenai and the Kenai Peninsula. Amazing. So how are you?
Good. Just getting ready for politicking season.
Yeah.
I thought it was over.
Primaries. Did you not vote yet? Oh no, never mind.
I was. Go ahead.
May 17th.
Yeah,
it's coming.
Yes, so it's not over. Got 9 more days.
I was in the hotel where they had the Alaska Republican Convention.
Oh, really?
While I was there, yeah, it was kind of interesting.
I'm sure.
Didn't see, Sarah Palin was supposed to be there, but I didn't see her. She was there in the evening one night, but they did not ask Lisa Murkowski. She was specifically excluded from invitation.
I'm sure she was. Yeah, they're not a big fan of Murkowski.
Yeah, but Dan Sullivan was there, the other senator.
Oh, nice.
And their congressman passed away. Back several months ago. He was like 80 something. He had been in 24 times. No, couldn't be that long. He was, almost at 40 something years. He was the congressman from Alaska. So now that's what Sarah Palin and like 30 other people are running for.
Gotcha. Well, it's about the same thing here in North Carolina. So, other than that, trying to think of what's going on technology wise. No, I haven't really had a whole lot of time to jump into anything.
That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, just trying to think. Yeah.
It's all right. Here is an interesting story. China has ordered central government agencies and state-backed corporations to replace foreign-branded personal computers with domestic alternatives within 2 years, marking one of Beijing's most aggressive efforts so far to eradicate key overseas technologies from within its most sensitive organs. Staff were asked,
Isn't this what we're that's kind of weird. So they don't want the computers coming from HP or anybody like that.
Exactly.
But they're all made in China.
Right.
And the big threat has always been at these chip fab plants. Now, obviously, it's not happening with Intel or AMD, but when you look at Realtek network controllers and little things like that, there's been so many instances of backdoors being baked into firmware, unflashable firmware. It just seems odd for China. I doubt, and I could be wrong. I mean, I know the government here in the United States does control a bunch of these companies like HP and whatnot, but I doubt HP or Dell is baking stuff into computers that they're sending to China. Aren't they trying to switch away from Windows too? Isn't there a big push for Linux over there?
No, it's not Linux. It's their own.
But it's got to be Linux based. They didn't write their own x86 based operating system. It's got to be based.
Here it is. May break to turn foreign PCs for homemade alternative that run on operating software developed domestically.
Yeah, Linux can be developed domestically. You use the open source kernel. Yeah. There's no way they're building their own. That would be such a waste of time to build their own.
They have enough people to do that.
They'd have enough people, but why would you build why would you build why would you rebuild an open source kernel?
Well, the thing when I read it, the first thing that came to mind why they're doing it is they know how they operated.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make sure that they don't get caught in the same situation. So that's kind of pointing at that. And everything now they're talking about is it is likely to directly affect sales by HP and Dell, the country's biggest PC brands, after local champion Lenovo Group. So I guess,
but that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It's all politics kind of thing. It's they're playing.
Yeah, so I guess the difference might be, and I don't know this to be certain. Is it possible that Lenovo is actually building the computers in China, where the HPs and the Dells, they're not being built 100% in China. They're being built in the U.S., or at least assembled in the U.S. Yeah. So I wonder if Lenovo is actually assembling in Hong Kong or something like that, and actually building, and actually, because again, the components, a lot of the components are all coming from China in the first place, Foxconn and others. Yep. Intel just opened a huge new chip fab plant, or they're in the process of opening a new fab plant in Israel, which I think will be their largest fab plant they've got. So maybe Lenovo's just building in China, but this is just for governments, correct? This is not for, they're not banning it.
That's correct. Right now it's for government. At home, they already started kind of some time ago, and they're taking it easy on homes, but they want to.
Well, it's going to be hard for them to do that for home,
of course,
especially retroactive.
Yeah. So,
but if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. When there's communism, there's a way.
Exactly. Case in point. Yeah.
Yeah.
6.5 one. Half.
So Nick, you have a Chromebook?
No, I haven't had a Chromebook in years. Okay. But I'm very familiar. I used a Chromebook for a long time, and I'm still pretty familiar with them.
Well, AMD announced the Ryzen 5000C series for Chromebooks. The top chip in the series has 8 of AMD's Zen 3 cores, giving systems that use it more x86 CPU cores than any other Chromebook. The 7nm Ryzen 5000C series ranges from the Ryzen 3 5125C with 2 Zen 3 cores and a base and boost clock speed of 3 GHz, up to the Ryzen 7 5825C with 8 cores and a base clock speed of 2 GHz that can boost to 4.5 GHz. For comparison, Intel Core i7 1185G7, found in some higher-end Chromebooks, has 4 cores and a base clock speed of 3 GHz that can boost to 4.8 GHz. So they're giving, and it's probably very expensive too.
That's, and it's very interesting because Chrome right now, Chromebook is in a very lucrative spot right now.
Yeah.
And let me explain why. They have completely, without a doubt, owned the education market. They are all over, at least here actually all over the world. They're in K through 12 education all over the world with their Chromebooks, because when they originally came out, they were low cost. And what they're trying to do, at least from my vantage point, is when those kids who have been using Chromebooks for 5 or 6 years graduate and it's time for them to buy their own computer, they want them to buy a Chromebook. And I think that's why you're seeing the push for things like SteamOS and Android apps and some of these other things that are still PC gaming is still, and you can argue with me, but it's one of the largest markets. It's one of the largest reasons that people are buying a PC.
A high-end PC, especially.
No, not even a high-end PC. I mean, just PCs in general.
Okay.
But yes, you're right. High-end PCs, but for the casual guy or gal that's graduated high school and is now going to get their own first computer, Google wants them to buy a Chromebook.
Sure.
And the only way to do that is to make the OS more of an actual OS than a web browser. So that's what they're doing. And obviously AMD seems to think that there's a market there to do this. So it's very interesting.
Yep.
I think you're going to see probably over the next 5 years, probably over the next 5 years, I think Google will know if their plan has worked out or not. Because that's the $1 million question. When you graduate from high school, what do you get? Do you get a Mac? Do you get a PC? Or do you get a Chromebook because you're already familiar with it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It used
There
to
have
be a
been
Mac.
programs in place for years where you go to a school and they have a specific platform that they recommend that you can lease from them or buy from them.
Yeah.
Usually it's like a 4-year deal where you get service and all that built in, and they give you the platform. It was very successful.
Yeah. So I'm very curious to see if Google's going to be able to kind of parlay this K through 12 education binge over to actual market cap outside of that. And then, of course, once you've got a generation of kids, at this point, it would be young adults that are using Chromebook outside of the classroom. Then at what point does it transition over into the workplace? Because that's the next progression, is you've got a whole generation that's very familiar with this operating system. Does it transition over to enterprise?
It could.
Maybe not.
You might wind up having to have remedial training to undo their brains to make them used to another platform.
Exactly. Or if the remedial training is such a pain in the ass, maybe you just move on. Well, and it depends. If you're a company, and the problem that Google's going to have with this is so many companies are already Office 365. And if you're Office 365, you're sure as hell not going to use Chromebooks. But if you're a company that's using Google Apps and Google Business, well, then it makes a lot of sense, because they've got their equivalent to an Active Directory or a domain that works right out of the box with the Chromebook. But big business is still all using 365 because it's so much of it's just a better platform. But I guess for small to medium size,
and their licensing scheme is so popular and so embedded in corporate America for how they license, and they have a whole way of keeping you stuck in the system.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic marketing that they do, but they have a program for renewals and for pricing and all this stuff that keeps people locked into the Microsoft model, which is, I'm trying to look up the Office 365 market share now, and I'll let you know what I find, what it is out there.
No, it's very, very lucrative.
Very high.
Wasn't there, I remember going through a story some time ago about a company that was, that had their file encrypted, and they wanted to recover, and they replaced all their machines with Chromebooks and put the data on it, and they were up and running in no time. It seems like I remember.
Say that again?
They switched their computers to Chromebooks because their network of PCs was hacked and locked down, and they didn't want to pay the ransom. And they said that they came after the weekend. Everybody had a Chromebook, and they were working. It seems like something like this now. Yeah, I don't know how server and stuff like that, but maybe they didn't have any of that. But the thing is,
school district.
No, it was
after. It says after ransomware attack, school district says Chromebook safe, but not Windows. Use Chromebooks to recover from the ransomware attack.
Yeah, this was a business.
Baltimore County Public Schools. There are probably more than one that have done it.
Yeah. So maybe that's the plan that Google has. You know, they're working with AMD, and everybody's boosting it up and propping it up, and suddenly businesses are becoming more familiar with Chromebooks, and they're getting into that. Possible. Is always possible. Anyhow.
Oh, by the way, we were talking about the FIDO standard before.
Yeah.
Bluetooth is used because you will have a mobile device that you authenticate to that will be used to authorize you on another device. So that other device, they communicate with Bluetooth. Like you have your authentication keys that you access through your mobile device, your phone, and it connects through Bluetooth to send your credentials to the device you're trying to log in, like your PC.
Your PC.
That's what the Bluetooth does.
Oh.
It is a local connection. You have an authenticated device, however, whatever it uses to authenticate you, which is connected to your database of permissions that will send it using that device to the device you're trying to log
So
into.
your phone has to be paired with your PC, and if you are
Or
outside,
whatever device uses Bluetooth
Yeah.
as the way to authenticate you.
what is the range of Bluetooth?
Oh,
roughly?
it could be as much as 300 feet, depending
Okay.
on the power,
Yeah.
what
Still.
chipset you're using.
Yeah.
300. Yeah, I think it's 300 feet.
So
Maximum.
yeah.
I mean, that's stretching it to the edge, but most Bluetooth is
Well, you would normally do it
20
sitting
feet,
in front of it anyway.
20, 30 feet.
Yeah.
in the
Nice.
house. Yeah. So that's just like I was talking about that near field communication system they would use to authorize. Same idea. Just instead of having a fob that has your credentials on it, you have a smart device that has your credentials on it that will communicate.
Hmm.
It's like two-factor. It's built-in two-factor authentication. The way that works now, with a lot of places you log in, it says, "Well, you want to log in? I'm going to send a key to your phone for you to put in, and that's your login." So this just
So, yeah,
uses
that makes
Bluetooth
sense
instead of
then.
having
Absolutely.
you enter the code.
Yeah.
It's doable, but then again, what happens if the broadband network goes down? And that's in the article I'm reading. The guy, it's funny because he says, "Well, if it breaks down, you have to go to," and he puts in parentheses, a password.
So you still have to have a password anyway, but you
to
won't be
unlock your
using it.
vault.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to evolve. I mean, they can implement it and people will get used to it and it will get broken and massaged and made better and, it's fine. All right. It's this time of day.
I put a link to the FIDO2 standard in chat.
Okay. Interesante. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to add? No?
I'd like to add that 2 + 2 = 4.
That's good.
Most of the time.
You bring that knowledge all the way from Alaska?
I did. Oh, I got
Okay.
a local radio station in Fairbanks does this thing where they have constant jokes between songs. So
Oh.
one joke that I remembered I thought was really good. The guy says, "Well, when I was a kid, my 2 older brothers used to put me in a tire and roll me down the hill for fun. It was a good year."
It was a good year. Nice.
Nick doesn't get it, I can tell.
Oh, I get it.
He
It's
does.
just
He
not,
just doesn't think it's funny.
I'm just disappointed. That's all.
I know. Well, it was
That's
all-
my That's my
it's a-
profession.
That's a bunch of. It was a lot of very corny. There's an actor that you would immediately recognize his voice that does this stuff for this company, for this radio station. It's pretty
Hmm.
funny.
Yeah, it's probably some syndicated thing.
Yeah.
All right. So let's end this here. Thanks, Spence. Thanks, Nick. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah. I hope you feel better. Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Donna, Dina, Arlette and Micha, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, Yael. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And again, remember, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM with his daily news and comment show. You can just tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave anywhere in the world, I would think. And you can always go to nickcraig.com to listen to the recordings. Tuesdays, 7 p.m., Nick and Brian do the Infection Podcast for survival games and gaming news. Remember, Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. at twitch.tv/Infection Podcast, one word, on Twitch. See you next week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.